People are already sending me the AP NORC poll out today. 65% of Democratic voters want Biden to drop out. And the irony is, I don't even know if Democratic voters want Trump to drop out as much.
Because we can beat him if we have somebody that.
Well, I think the point is the reason why people want Biden to drop out is because they don't want Trump to win.
538 has their new odds out, and apparently it's their best odds for Biden since May 10th. 54 times out of 100 he beats Trump versus 46 out of 100. Now they have pretty arcane way of weighting that, but just something to be said. I personally think Biden should still leave. I don't buy that at all.
I correct 80s. I want to correct myself. 86% of Democrats want Trump to drop out. 65% want Biden to drop out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if he will. We're reading stories that a lot of Democratic Congresspeople are contacting Nancy Pelosi, looking to Nancy Pelosi to do something about this. It's unclear to me whether what's going to happen. At one point, I imagine there's going to be a point. I don't know if that's when he becomes nominated. Jamie Harrison, the chair of the Democratic National Party, was on Twitter yesterday spending at least what it seemed to be several hours in a Twitter fight with Nate Silver. Just a reminder to everybody out there, including if you are the chairman of one of the two national parties that are involved in what I think is going to be the most consequential presidential election of my lifetime. That election's happening in 4 months. You should be able to find better things to do than to argue with Nate Silver on Twitter. If you feel like you need to argue with Nate Silver on Twitter to get your message out, I suggest that maybe you head down to your comms department and fire them all.
Had a spat with the Podjohns over who wrote George Clooney's op-ed the other week.
The problem that we have now, and look, this is a function of the media to some extent as well. But the problem we have now is that the Biden campaign has one purpose, and it's to maintain the Biden campaign, when it really should be to defeat Donald Trump. Please do not say the part of the problem is this program, because Joe Biden has not listened to us in this, in any other forum or any other time. The problem started with the debate. So,
and even the people who were on Biden's side said, well, he's going to prove himself in the coming weeks. And that ain't happened.
I mean, I was one of those people. I was one of those people who said the debate strategy makes a lot of sense. Get Donald Trump out there as early as possible. I rated his State of the Union address one of the best I've ever seen. Put to bed all the questions about his capacity, because I don't think it's just about his age. There are 81-year-olds out there who are within our politics who have the ability to be agile on their feet, not literally, although literally too. But Biden just can't. He can't turn the ship, and he's getting worse even when he's reading off the teleprompter. I don't, and frankly, again, I don't care. I mean, I love all these proposals he's coming out with, But if he doesn't win, it doesn't make any difference anyways.
Two-thirds of Democrats want Biden to withdraw. Democrats overall, 35 to 65%. Even black Democrats, 50% to 49%. That's the best demographic breakdown he has. 50% to 49%.
We'll see. I mean, supposedly we'll know in the next week or two. And look, there's a lot of controversy around this question as to whether the DNC needs to do this early nomination process. That's what Jamie Harrison was fighting with Nate Silver about. I don't know. I mean, the arguments seem fairly legit on both sides. I do know they were planning to do this prior to the debate. I mean, we had talked about it. Even after Ohio had changed their law, they were still planning to do it prior to the debate. So I don't think there was any reason for them to be afraid that Joe Biden wasn't going to make it 3 weeks later in the nomination process prior to the debate. They may be, floating, pushing it up a little bit to close the window in which this question about Joe Biden is happening. But I think they just found it to be the most prudent thing possible to do it prior to the debate. We'll talk more about that later. And the reason why I'm so exercised about that is in part because of the threat that Donald Trump poses to this country. I think, honestly, the pick he picked last night represents perhaps the greatest threat of all the potential picks he could have had. Because it's not J.D. Vance who's coming in there. It's Peter Thiel.
Runs a private intelligence corporation, among other things.
It's both his ideology and where his business interest lies. We'll get that in a moment. I want to try and lighten the mood a little bit. And so let's play this clip from the RNC last night. This was, actually, this wasn't even at night, actually. This was in the afternoon. As you know, Rudy Giuliani just 2 days ago, I think it was on Monday, was told by a federal bankruptcy judge, I believe, that, yeah, no, we're not giving you bankruptcy protection so that you can get away with not paying off your debts and what you owe from your defamation case. And part of it, my understanding and reading briefly, part of the decision was just that the judge is like, you haven't complied with anything. Like he's disbarred, but he came in there and he's showing total disrespect to the court. And they're like, you know what, dude, if you can't supply the bankruptcy court with what you need to file for bankruptcy, why should we trust that you're going to take any part of this process? Go pay your debts. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.